So you're interested in Dopex V2, huh?
A lot of buzz around it lately.
And for good reason. This isn't just like, your typical protocol upgrade.
Right.
This is like potentially a whole new ballgame for decentralized options trading.
Yeah, I mean, Dopex V1 had its moments for sure, but V2 is really where the team has like taken all the lessons learned,
Right.
address those limitations head on. It's all about capital efficiency and attracting like serious liquidity.
Totally. And to understand why this is such a big deal, we have to understand like the driving force behind it. We
Yeah.
talked with Boss, a Dopex advisor,
Yeah.
who has a deep, deep understanding of this space.
Yeah, he's very insightful.
And what's so fascinating is that this isn't just theoretical for him. He's going to be trading on this platform himself,
Yeah, he's really excited about it, actually.
particularly the clam component.
He's especially excited about Clam's potential to generate consistent yield.
Okay.
He describes it as like the perfect marriage of Uniswap V3 liquidity provision and options premiums.
I love that. So let's unpack that a little bit. For those who aren't familiar, CLAM stands for Concentrated Liquidity Automated Market Maker. Now, we're not going to like rehash all of Uniswap V3 basics here,
Yeah.
but here's the gist. So you provide liquidity within a specific price range,
Right.
but it's divided into these like smaller segments called ticks. So think of it like you're zooming in on a price chart, and each tick is a price level where your liquidity can be used for options trading.
Exactly. And Clam leverages those Uniswap V3 LP positions in a really, really ingenious way.
Okay.
So instead of just earning trading fees from like, people swapping tokens,
Yeah.
your liquidity is simultaneously generating yield from options premiums.
Okay.
So it's like your assets are working like double time.
Oh, I like that. So how does that work in practice?
So basically, each tick in your Uniswap V3 position acts like a mini options contract. So let's say you've provided liquidity at like the $1,900 tick for ETH, right? If the price of ETH goes above that, it's like someone bought a call option from you at $1,900 and you collect the premium.
Wow. So I'm earning those standard Uniswap V3 fees, but on top of that, I'm raking in premiums from these like embedded options.
Yeah.
That's got to be way more profitable than just like passive liquidity provision on Uniswap V3 alone.
Yeah, exactly. And because those options are like woven into the fabric of the AMM, it creates like a more consistent and potentially lucrative income stream, especially over the long term.
It's awesome. But there's always a trade-off though, right? What are the potential downsides here?
Yeah, so one thing to consider is liquidity locking.
Okay.
So when you're selling options through Clam, your funds are committed until those options expire or are exercised.
Gotcha. So I might not have like immediate access to my liquidity if I need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Are there any ways that Dopex is like mitigating this risk?
Yeah, absolutely. So they're implementing a few key strategies. So first, they're offering like really attractive incentives to make sure there's a healthy amount of liquidity on the platform.
Right.
So that kind of prevents those scenarios where like everyone wants to pull out at the same time.
That's smart.
And second, they're exploring the possibility of allowing users to like borrow against their Clam deposits, which would be huge for capital deficiency.
That's amazing. So Clam sounds like a great option for the kind of like more passive DeFi investor.
Yeah.
But what about like, those of us who like to be a bit more hands-on with our trading?
Yeah, so that's where the Dopex V2 options AMM comes in.
Yep.
So think of it kind of as the arena where the sharks come to play, right?
Okay.
It offers a level of control and flexibility that you won't find with like more passive strategies.
I like the sound of that. What sets this options AMM apart from others?
So unlike Clam, where you're primarily selling options, the options AMM lets you actively buy and sell. So this opens up a whole world of possibilities for more kind of sophisticated strategies,
Yeah.
We're talking arbitrage opportunities, complex spreads, all that good stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, it's designed to attract those like experienced options traders and market makers
Right.
who crave that granular control.
So if I'm hearing you correctly, it caters to a different risk appetite
Yeah.
and requires a much deeper understanding of options trading than, say, Clam.
Yeah, precisely.
So it's like set it and forget it approach.
Exactly. Yeah. And to further empower these traders,
Okay.
Dopex V2 has incorporated portfolio margining.
Portfolio margining. That sounds familiar from traditional finance.
Yeah.
But how does that work in like a DeFi context?
Yeah, it's pretty revolutionary, actually. So
Right.
just like on centralized exchanges, portfolio margining allows you to leverage your collateral across multiple options positions simultaneously.
Interesting. So instead of having my capital like locked up in these separate trades,
Yeah.
I can essentially use the same collateral for multiple positions,
Exactly.
which could really amplify those returns.
Exactly. It optimizes your capital efficiency so you can potentially take on larger positions with the same amount of funds.
Wow. That's a game changer.
Yeah.
This all sounds incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But for the options AMM to really thrive, it needs one crucial ingredient, liquidity. How does Dopex V2 plan to ensure deep and sustainable liquidity for these options contracts?
So that's where the brilliance of the Dopex V2 ecosystem really shines through. Some of the liquidity from Clam will actually be shared with the options AM.
Oh, interesting. So the two components, while catering to different types of users, are interconnected and support each other?
Exactly. It creates this synergistic loop
Nice.
where passive liquidity providers on Clam are indirectly contributing to the depth and efficiency of the options AMM.
Thought.
So it benefits everyone in the Dopex ecosystem. And as more active traders and market makers kind of join the platform, drawn in by its unique features, we can expect to see like even deeper liquidity, even for longer dated options, which are notoriously tricky in the DeFi space.
Right. This is what excites me most about Dopex V2.
Yeah.
It feels like they're building a really robust and interconnected ecosystem designed to cater to a wide range of users and strategies.
For sure.
But let's move on to another exciting aspect of Dopex V2, the RDPX token.
Okay.
It's getting a makeover, and this is particularly intriguing for those looking for,
Yes.
those compelling yield opportunities.
Absolutely. So the new RDPX is moving to a V token model, similar to what we see with Curve Finance.
Okay, for those who aren't familiar with this term V token, it essentially means locking up your tokens
Right.
to gain boosted rewards and
Right.
voting rights within the protocol.
Exactly.
So with RDPX, the longer I lock up my tokens, the larger my share of the rewards,
Yeah.
and the greater my influence on the future direction of Dopex V2.
Yep. It's about incentivizing long-term commitment and participation in the Dopex ecosystem. But here's where it gets really interesting.
Okay.
Remember those revenue streams we talked about earlier?
Yeah.
The ones generated by Clam, the options AMM, other parts of Dopex V2?
I'm all ears.
Well, a significant portion of those fees will be used to reward RDPX holders.
Wow.
And we're not just talking about a small cut.
Okay.
We're talking about potentially substantial yields.
Okay.
Exceeding what you might find with traditional staking.
Wow. So by holding RDPX, I'm not just passively waiting for the token to appreciate in value.
Right.
I'm actively earning a share of the revenue generated by the entire Dopex V2 ecosystem.
Exactly.
So it's like becoming a shareholder in the platform's success.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's not even just about holding the RDPX token.
Yeah.
It's about owning a piece of this evolving ecosystem.
Exactly.
But tell me more about these potentially substantial yields.
Okay.
How exactly does Dopex V2 generate these returns for RDPX holders?
So the real magic happens when you bond your RDPX with ETH.
Okay.
This creates a special receipt token
Okay.
that can be staked for even higher potential returns.
Oh, wow.
We're talking potentially surpassing typical ETH staking rewards.
Okay, that's a bold claim.
Yeah.
It sounds almost too good to be true.
Right.
What's the catch?
Well, I mean, no investment is without risk,
Right.
especially in DeFi.
Sure.
But Dopex has taken steps to kind of mitigate those risks,
Okay.
particularly for those participating in the RDPX bonding program.
Okay, what kind of risk mitigation are we talking about here?
They're implementing something called perpetual puts.
Perpetual puts. Okay.
So think of it as an insurance policy
Okay.
for your bonded RDPX.
Got it.
So if the market takes a downturn
Right.
and the price of RDPX falls below a certain threshold,
Okay.
these puts automatically kick in.
So they kind of act as a safety net, preventing catastrophic losses
Exactly.
on my initial investment. Okay, that does provide some peace of mind.
Yeah.
But I'm curious, for someone new to the Dopex ecosystem,
Yeah.
it might be a bit confusing navigating these different tokens.
Right.
We've got DPX and RDPX.
Right.
What are the key differences?
Okay.
And which one should someone consider, adding to their portfolio?
That's a great question. So DPX is the original governance token of Dopex.
Okay.
Holding DPX gives you voting rights on protocol upgrades, other key decisions.
Gotcha.
You also earn a share of the fees generated by the Dopex platform.
Okay.
RDPX, on the other hand, is specifically designed for yield generation
Okay.
and plays a more active role in Dopex V2's kind of options trading mechanics.
So if I'm looking for maximum yield,
Yeah.
and I want to be more kind of actively involved in the options side,
Right.
RDPX is the way to go.
Yeah.
But if I prefer a more hands-off approach,
Right.
and I want exposure to the overall growth
Yeah.
of the Dopex ecosystem,
Right.
DPX might be a better fit. Okay, cool.
Yeah, it really just comes down to like your individual risk appetite,
Right.
investment goals, and how actively you want to participate in the Dopex ecosystem.
It's fascinating how Dopex has kind of strategically designed these tokens
Yeah.
to serve these different purposes,
Yeah.
appealing to like a wider range of
For
investors.
sure.
This Dopex V2 deep dive has been incredibly eye-opening. We covered a lot of ground, from the ingenious way Clam leverages Uniswap V3 liquidity to the like sophisticated opportunities offered by the options AMM. Yeah. And the potential for high yield with this revamped RDPX token,
Right.
Dopex V2, it's more than just an upgrade.
Yeah.
It's like a complete reimagining of what's possible with decentralized options trading.
It really is. It's really impressive how the team has addressed those limitations from V1
Right.
and created a much more kind of robust,
Right.
efficient, and accessible platform for users of like all levels.
Totally.
I think we're just scratching the surface of what Dopex V2 can do.
It makes you wonder, like, what other innovative DeFi applications will emerge from this Dopex V2 ecosystem?
Yeah. Who knows?
Will we see, like, structured products tailored to specific risk appetites?
Yeah.
Or perhaps entirely new ways to hedge against volatility in the crypto market?
Who knows? The possibilities are endless.
One thing's for sure, things are about to get very interesting.
For sure.
To our listeners, if this deep dive has, like, piqued your curiosity,
Yeah.
I really encourage you to explore the Dopex V2 platform. Read the documentation
Yeah.
and see how you can participate in this, like, groundbreaking experiment.
Yeah, get involved.
You might discover your next big DeFi opportunity.
Absolutely.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and as always, happy diving.
Happy diving.